Hello, everybody. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So, I have some fun little cards that I want to share with you featuring this month's Paper Pumpkin Kit. So, I put together four different designs using the supplies from the kit and, of course, the stamp set. So, I'm going to show you these designs. Now, if you didn't get Paper Pumpkin, don't worry. You can use these card designs with any supplies that you have on hand. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, these are the cards that I'm going to show you how to make today. So, the Paper Pumpkin Kit, let me just grab this here. This was the Paper Pumpkin Kit for May. So, it's called Celebrating in Color. And it has five different designs. So, there's five new in colors, and we have five different designs in this particular kit. So, we made a total of 10 cards. So I'm just going to move these out of the way for the moment. And I'll show you the kit cards. Good morning. Good morning. So these are the cards that we created with this month's kit. So they're very clean and simple cards, and they're in all five of the new in colors. So I love that. So this was the Parakeet Party. And then, of course, we have the Orchid Oasis, Tahitian Tide, Sweet Sorbet, and then the Starry Sky. So those are the cards that came in the kit. So you were able to make two of each of these five cards. So what I did, I made just the basic set. So this is how the kit was intended to be. So I made those cards. But then I took the remaining cards and I just dressed them up a little bit. So I added some of my own little stamp images here. So let me show you the stamp sets that I used. So I used Eden's Garden. So it has a lot of fun little images in it. And then this large image. So these are actually the two stamp sets that I used for all the cards today. So this is one of them. And then the other one is called Shaded Summer. And I used this large floral here for my alternate card ideas that I'm going to share today. So anyways, so this is what I did. I just added a couple little stamped images to these cards. You can see this one has that large floral from the Eden's Garden. So just to give you an idea, I'll just kind of show you side by side here. That'll probably be easier. So here's the kit card, and then here's how I just stepped it up just a little bit by adding some images, some stamped images. And what did I do with the other one? Oh, here it is. I'm confusing myself. All right, so this is the kit card, and then look how different it looks just by adding that little bit of stamping. It just kind of changes the whole look of the card. And then here's the Sweet Sorbet. And I just added a little bit of designer paper, some of that in color designer paper. And then this card, I really didn't do much to it except for change the orientation of it. In the kit, they had you putting it together in this direction. I just changed it to portrait style. That's all I did. And then this is the last one where I just added a stamped image behind the greetings. So just kind of some fun and simple ways to dress up the cards a little bit. So I'm going to move those out of the way. But these are the cards that I created using some of the supplies from the set. So this is what I'm going to focus on showing you how to make today. So actually what I did is I cut apart the envelopes. So kind of like the last kit, I cut apart the envelopes again to create the four cards that I have here. So let me show you how I did that. I'm going to start by taking apart the envelope. So we're going to create everything in the Orchid Oasis color. So let me just change the orientation here of my screen. So these are the envelopes that came in the kit. And you had envelopes, obviously, in each of the five new in colors. So the first thing I did was just kind of take them apart. So you can easily take these apart. You can just slide your fingers along. As I say easily, I tear it. But you can just slide your fingers along here and open up the envelope. So the envelopes have this cool little design. It's like an ombre effect on the inside of the envelope. So that's kind of your envelope liner. So I'm going to grab my trimmer, my paper trimmer here. And so all I did was cut my envelope apart. So we're going to start by just putting this in the paper trimmer. And I basically just lined up the edge of this design here with the groove in my paper trimmer. So let me just do that. And then I just cut apart my envelope. So you just kind of keep turning it and line up that edge with the groove of your paper trimmer. And then this one has a fold in it. So I'm going to kind of crease this so we can see it a little bit. So that's where the top part of your envelope is. So I'm just going to go like just below that fold. And then we'll turn and cut this piece off. So you basically end up with a really nice piece. It's about 4¼ inches by 5¼ So I'm just going to cut it down to 4. So I have a 4 by 5¼ inch piece for my card. So it just makes a really nice, kind of like designer paper. It just makes a really nice piece for your card. So this is what we're going to use for one of the cards. And then I took this little envelope top and I cut it down into a triangular shape. So I just kind of used the guides on the side of my paper trimmer here to just cut off this excess. So I'm going to just cut this first one. And I'm basically just eyeballing it. I mean, I'm using the guide a little bit, but I'm kind of eyeballing it. So I'm going to use that guide down here on the bottom and just cut this other piece. And then you have a nice triangle shape that you can use in your card making. Okay. I'll just move some of this stuff out of the way. So the first thing we will do, let me grab my cards here, is we'll start with this one. So I'm going to be creating it in the Orchid Oasis, but it's the same design, the same kind of style. And I think I forgot to grab my, hold on one second here. Just when I thought I had everything set out, I don't. So let me get this figured out here. I thought I had all my pieces. That's what happens when you're creating like 30 cards. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece that I just cut off that envelope and I'm going to stamp this floral image. So this is the image from the Shaded Summer stamp set. So I'm just going to stamp that right on, let me move this here, right on my little designer paper piece, I guess. So we'll add this. And then I'll show you all of the cards that I created, but for now I'll just, we'll just keep this blue in here. And then I'm going to be using this, one of the images from the kit, the paper pumpkin kit. So it has a large happy image and a large U. So these are the two main images that I'll be using. So I'm going to take those out right away. And then there's also like a little splatter image in here too. So we'll be using that. So I'm going to add my happy image to my block. And what I decided to do with some of the cards, I actually used that flap from the envelope to create this little happy design. But I decided to save that flap to make a card. So I'm just using some designer paper. And this is the 2022-2024 In Color Designer Series paper. So I just took a small scrap piece and just stamped the word happy on it. And now I'm just going to cut this down. All right. So I just cut off that top part. And what I'm going to do is just angle it and then use it on my card. So you could just take your scissors and just cut a little angle. And then we got a fun little decoration for our card. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card base. So I actually just added, I just used all my In Color products as extra supplies with this kit. So if you have the In Color products and you're loving them, this kit is perfect because you can use your In Color products to create more cards with the kit supplies. So, all right, so that's the basic design there. And then what I did is, of course, you guys know I love my doilies. So I just cut a quarter of a doily and we'll just add a little bit of glue. And I'm going to adhere it right behind this little happy word. And then we'll just pop it up on the card. So we'll add a couple dimensionals here. I'm using up my dimensionals, as you can see. So this will just get popped up on the card, but before I do that, I'm going to add just a little bit of splatter. So I'm going to use these little dots, and this is an image from the kit. There's lots of stamped images that you can use to create the splatter. We'll just add a little bit down on the bottom, and then we'll just add a little bit here. And now I can go ahead and I can add my greeting. So it's a simple card. And the last thing I have to do is stamp my little, boy, I thought I had everything done, you guys. That's what happens. That's what happens when you think you're prepared. All right, so let's create this little greeting real quick. So in the kit, we had a little basic gray ink spot, stamping spot, which coordinates really nicely with, of course, with these colors. So I'm just going to quickly stamp this. So the cool thing about this kit is that you can use the different greetings and images in this set to create different sayings. So like this one is going to say, "You make me happy." And then some of the other ones say like, "Celebrate your day. You can do anything." So there's lots of different ways to use this kit. So I'm just going to trim this down. And then we'll just add this to the card. So it looks like the very first card I decided to share with you guys. Apparently I didn't cut everything out, but that's okay. Then you guys get to see me creating everything. So we will add this. So you can create this design in all 5 of the In Colors. So there's enough supplies in the kit to do, you could actually do this card in all 5 of the colors. So it's pretty cool if you cut apart the envelopes. All right, so that's the first design. So I'm going to put this to the side. And then the second design I have is the one with the triangle shape. So let's bring that one out. So with this one, I used that large floral again. Let me just set this aside. And this is just a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock. So I'm just going to use that large floral from that Shaded Summer. And I'm going to start by stamping it kind of up here on the top part of this cardstock piece. And then I'm going to turn it and stamp right about here. So I'm adding it twice. And then I have this triangular piece that's going to just go over the bottom part of what I just stamped. So I have to get a block. So I'm going to add this U in gray. I'm going to stamp this U right here on this triangular piece. So this is one of the images from the paper pumpkin kit. You can stamp any image you want on there. I'm just using what was in the kit. So I'm using the basic gray, and I will just add this right to this triangular piece. It would look really cool heat embossed as well. So something to keep in mind if you like heat embossing. And then I'm going to add another little doily. So actually, before I bring that back, let's put a little doily on here. Excuse me. So I'm going to add this, and then we'll add this right to our card. So it's a simple design, but it's just really pretty. So you can do this with any, you can cut a triangular piece with any designer paper. I just decided to use the flap of that envelope because we can't let our paper go to waste, right? So now let's put this on our card base. I'm just using my standard card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. That's the standard size I use for my card bases. Sometimes I change it up. All right, so then we have that. And then we can add some splatter, or you can just leave it as is. You can try to add a little bit of splatter up here. And we'll add some down here. And maybe just a little bit coming out of here. And then, of course, you can add embellishments. I added some little dots. You can add pearls, whatever you want. And then I have this little greeting, the rest of the greeting that I'm going to add. So let me grab my little dots. So I tend to just stamp this on like scrap paper, and then I just trim it down to the size of the greeting. So this greeting says, can do anything. So I just stamped it on a scrap piece of white cardstock and just trimmed it down. Whoops, it stuck to my finger. And then we can just add it to the card. So it says, you can do anything. So cute. All right, so that is card number 2. Let's see, card number 3. So the other thing about this kit, I think it's this one, here we go, is that there were these little pieces in here for you to create kind of like gift card holders on the inside of the card. So it's just like a little pocket. It has, it's scored on 3 sides, and then the side is rounded. So what I did with this one is I'll show you how to trim it down. Let me just grab my paper trimmer. So with this one, I just trimmed off the excess here. I trimmed off those little pieces that that are scored. So I just went along and trimmed off the edges so I could get rid of those score lines. And I tend to just cut like just a little bit to the left of the score line so that I'm not cutting directly on the score line. Sometimes when you cut directly on the score line, it kind of tears your paper. So I like to kind of cut just a little bit off the score line. Okay, so let's do this one. I got all my pieces here. Move that back into view. So for this card, I started with this 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock. And so that gets adhered right to the card front. And then I used some of my own designer paper. So this is just a 3 by 4 inch piece. I love the polka dot design. So I love the polka dots probably as much as I love doilies. So so I had this. And then this piece, I stamped that floral image that I've been using for all of the cards. So I just need a scrap piece. Let's use this scrap piece of envelope. So I'm going to stamp that large floral from the Shaded Summer stamp set. It's such a pretty floral. So we will stamp right about here. And just add that. We'll bring our card back. And this time I took my doily and I added it all around the side of this particular piece. So you can just add some glue like right along this edge here. And then adhere your doily. There we go. And hopefully I didn't get too much glue on here. And it just kind of gives it a nice little look on the side of that piece. So now we'll go ahead and add some dimensionals to this. And we'll pop it up on the card. Let's see, how many more dimensionals do I have? We'll use up some of these. We'll just snip some of these dimensionals. You guys use the edge of your dimensionals, right? Never get rid of any of that stuff. Okay. So this is just one way that you can use that little pocket. Just cut it down and make it the focal point of your card, which is basically what I did. So I'm just going to adhere this kind of down towards the bottom of this polka dot piece. And then I just added a couple dimensionals across the bottom. So I like to use the dimensionals that I have on the edge, these little edge ones. And then we'll add a couple dimensionals here and here. Looks like I might need one more here. So I'm going to be adding a piece of designer paper across here. So I want to support that piece. So I always add my dimensionals right to the card when I'm doing this, because then I don't add them to the piece that already popped up. So I kind of add it around there. And then I can go ahead and add my designer paper right on top. So this is just a 3/4 inch wide and it's 4 inches long. So it just kind of gives it a nice little touch. And, oh, what did I do with my Celebrate You? Well, I guess we're gonna have to stamp this. Apparently, I just wanted you guys to see me stamp today. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just stamp the little greeting for this. So again, I'm just using some scrap white. I get a lot of scrap white from cutting my cardstock pieces. Oops, I want to use gray. So I save all those little scrap pieces because they work excellent for creating your greetings. All right, so we'll put this on here. Oops, yeah, this is the right one. So this is what I used for this particular card. So you're probably wondering, well, it doesn't say celebrate you, it says celebrate your. But what I did is I just cut it down so that it says celebrate you. So you can just use your scissors and you can just cut off that part. And then you can cut off this part. And then you have a little greeting that says celebrate you. And I have to find my dimensionals again. Oh no, I don't want to add dimensionals. Jeez, I just want to add this. Otherwise I get too crazy and too many layers. So we'll just add the little celebrate you. There we go. So that is the card number 3, I believe we're on. And then I just added some little embellishments here on the side. And then actually on my other ones, I added some bows, so I'll show you that. But that's the basic design. All right, so that is card number 3. And then the last card that I want to share with you is another fun way to use this little pocket piece. So what I did is I created, I used that pocket. So that's actually, it was designed for a gift card, to hold your gift card. But I just used that little pocket to create this fun little greeting. So it says, "You make me happy." So you can just slide that in, and it's a regular card. So on the inside, that's what the card looks like. But it's just another fun way to use some of the pieces from this set. So, oh, here's where all my pieces are. Well, what do you know? Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is just stamp an image up in the corner here. So I'm using that Eden's Garden image. So it's this large floral image from that particular stamp set. So I just want to add that kind of up in the corner, just so that I have a little bit of stamping in the background. And I'm just going to move this out of the way. And then I'm going to take this piece. So this is that little pocket piece. So on the last card, I cut off all these little pieces, but here I'm going to use it. So I'm just going to smooth these out. So you can just use your bone folder just to kind of burnish the edges here. Kind of get it to go down a little bit. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of tear and tape to these pieces. So tear and tape works really well. And we'll add a piece on this side. Okay. So this is going to be the top part of um, my little pocket. So I'm going to just trim down a doily. I'm going to just cut this off. And I'm just going to add this right to the top here. And I'll just add another piece of tape over it. You gotta do all that fancy stuff before we adhere it. So now I'll just peel these off and we can go ahead and adhere this. And then I'll tell you about how I made the other piece. So I'm just going to adhere this right up kind of so it overlaps onto that little image. So let's move it over right about there. And then we're just gonna push down those pieces. So we have a little pocket on the front of our card. So pockets right like that. And then I just cut a 2x4-inch piece of white cardstock. So this is the piece that's going to slide in there. That's going to have our happy on it. So I'm going to just use that happy from the kit. And I have to get my Orchid Oasis. And we'll stamp this. You have to kind of stamp it over towards the left side so that it doesn't show through. We'll get that out of the way. So this will just slide in here. And then I have another little greeting that just says it says you make me, and then you pull this out, you make me happy. So we'll add that. Now, of course, you guys can use these as they were intended, as little gift card holders on the inside of your card. But I just thought it was kind of fun to play around with them and, just kind of come up with something different. So we'll add that. And then I just have a 5-inch piece. This is 5 inches long, a 5-inch piece of designer paper. So it's about a 1/2 inch wide, 5 inches long. And I'm just creating a little banner. Just kind of snipping the ends. And so I just wanted to kind of decorate the bottom of this a little bit more. So I'm going to add a couple dimensionals here off the bottom. And that uses up those dimensionals. And we'll just add one. I think I can add one on each side. We'll see. So we'll just add this. And this just kind of decorated it up a little bit. You don't have to add this piece. So that's that. And then I actually combined one of the butterflies from the Butterfly Kisses suite. So this is from the designer paper. I just thought it coordinated really nicely with the colors, with the in colors. So I'm just going to actually pop this one up on the card. So you can kind of mix and match everything. You don't have to, just use the butterflies with the butterfly suite. You can use it with just about anything. So we'll add that there. And then you can go ahead and tie a little bit of twine around the edge of your tag so that it, freely flows in and out of the card like this. So, and it just adds a little bit of decoration and just kind of a fun touch. So, all right. So those are the 5 cards. So let me bring them back just so that you can kind of see what they look like. Let me grab all the blue ones. Since all the blue ones are completely done, we'll put these out. So these are the 4 different card designs that I created. And of course, you guys just watched me create them all in the Orchid Oasis. So this is the Orchid Oasis. Let's move these up a little bit. And then I also created them in the other 3 colors. So you can add twine. I added twine to the Parakeet Party ones. So this is what the Parakeet Party looks like. You can see this is the envelope that I used. This is that little gift card. So you can really create 5 to 6 cards using these 4 designs with the materials that are in the kit. So that's the Parakeet Party. Here is the Starry Sky. So this one is just really gorgeous too because it's that dark blue. So I just really like that dark blue. This would have been really good to emboss in white. So here's another one. So those are the dark blue. I'll put all of these out on the blog, on my blog today. So you'll be able to see those. I'm trying to make some room so you guys can see them all. I only got limited space here, I guess. And then these are the Sweet Sorbet. So actually I used some glimmer paper in the background here to create these. So same concept. So I created they're all the same. The designs are all the same. The only thing that's different is are the colors, obviously, because there's 5 in colors. So super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed these card ideas. If you guys are loving these in colors as much as I am, don't forget that there is a special going on right now, the in color starter kit special, where you can get, a bunch of in color products. You get the ink pad, some grid paper, some designer paper. So it's like a $66.50 value. You can get that free with your starter kit. So I've put the link in the description with this video so you can go check that out. That special only runs through the end of this month. So you only have a little over a week, about a week left to take advantage of that. So if you don't have your hands on the in colors and you want to get the in colors, that's a great way to do it. Plus you can get $125 worth of any other products you want to add to your starter kit. And it's only $99. Shipping is free. So it's definitely a great way to get started with this collection. So definitely check that out. What else did I want to tell you? Paper Pumpkin. I also put a link in the description for that. So if you're interested in Paper Pumpkin, go check that out as well. So this was the May Paper Pumpkin kit. Let me just scoot these down so you guys can see them all. Let's see if I can get them all on there. So this was the May Paper Pumpkin kit. I just love taking the Paper Pumpkin kit and turning it into something a little bit different. So I like to use the pieces from the kit and create a whole bunch of extra cards. So with my Paper Pumpkin kit, I created I think it was about 30 cards. I did like 5 of each or 6 of each. 6 of each. 6 different cards in all 5 of the colors. So you can create 30 additional cards just by cutting up the envelopes in that kit. So it's definitely something to think about. So I hope you guys enjoyed all these card ideas. I love playing around with the kit. I love showing you alternate ways to use the kit. So if you missed out on the kit, I do have an extra. So reach out to me if you would like that extra kit. For some reason, I ordered 2 instead of 1. So I do have an extra. All right, you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy your day. And I will see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.